very good.
Hello, I'm Michael Burton, editor of the MJ. With me I've got Paul Selleck, Director of Public Authorities for Steria. Steria and the MJ have been organising a discussion with Chief Execs talking about the partnerships agenda, and we're about to have that. We've got some very senior local government chief executives. We've got Michael Higgins, who's chairman of the Audit Commission. We'll be looking at the comprehensive area assessment on it and the CAA's impact on partnerships, looking at shared services. We're looking at particularly the impact of the pre-budget statement on the new efficiency target, £5 billion. Paul, what do you think is going to be coming out in this discussion then?
Yes, Mike. I mean, we're extremely interested to see. We've been talking to local authorities for some while now about shared services and also outsourcing, which of course is our key business, and extremely interested to see how views may or may not have changed in the light of the current economic climate and of course the efficiency targets that local authorities are going to be having levied on them.
Okay, well let's see what some of the participants have got to say for themselves.
Good partnerships discuss finance. Rather than being terribly polite and veering away from that nasty topic, they don't just discuss it, they understand each other's processes. They understand the key decision points in each other's organisations. Because if you rely upon area-based grants, they account for a trivial proportion of total public service spending in an area. You can't pool your budgets, but you may well want to align them. And I think one of the signs of an effective local partnership is when they can have discussions about each other's budgets and how they can use some of the budget of the other organisation to achieve some of the goals they've set in common.
Many people say the shared service agenda has been rather more sluggish than perhaps it should be. I mean, Lincolnshire has always been quite in the forefront of that. I mean, what's your perspective?
They're right if that's what they're saying. It's not just sluggish, it's virtually non-existent. We do genuinely waste a lot of money in local government by not bringing things together that can be brought together, that don't threaten the autonomy or the decision-making ability of local politicians. There are still far too many people, officers and members alike, who like to have their own little white vans driving around town. It's just not necessary, it's not good value, and if this recession helps shake that out, then good for it.
In terms of the current financial situation, all local authorities are having to look at what extra we can do in terms of giving support to our localities. We're doing that locally in Islington, and we're particularly looking at the issues of debt counselling support and support to the local credit union and the local law centre, etc. Over the longer term, I think that the government expectations about a $5 billion contribution from local government, unfortunately, I think is only the start. And I think over the longer medium term, public sector, but particularly local government, will be expected to make a more significant contribution to restabilising national finances.
The risk, though, is that agencies will retrench to protect their own immediate budgets and their own immediate priorities, and will look to partnership as a way of shunting cost elsewhere rather than seeing the real opportunity to lead place, to use partnership in this period of adversity as one of the solutions to the economic and financial prospects that the communities are facing.
We've had an interesting discussion, some quite key points came out of it. I think one of them which struck me was the fact that shared services appears to be a subject which has been done to death, and yet at the same time it's still very early days for it. It's a bit of a paradox, isn't it?
It is, and as I was saying before the lunch, we've been talking about shared services to local authorities and police forces as well for some time. It's almost a shame that it's taken this current economic climate to potentially kick-start shared services as a reality, but that seems to be what we're hearing, that the prospect of having huge efficiency targets is actually going to kick-start local authorities to address the political and operational issues associated with entering into a shared service arrangement, whether that be public to public or public to private. So I'm pretty confident that things are going to start moving now.